Loss podcast with your favorite trio. I'm Amanda.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Kristen.
Hey, and we have the best, most special guests with us here today. We're so excited on season 2. We have the most phenomenal guests, but today, these are the most important people ever.
I agree.
The special of the special of the special.
The specialists.
We have these amazing children.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Ahmad.
I'm Amaya.
I'm Isaiah.
And how old are you all?
16.
7.
13.
Amazing. I love it. So we have highlighted the importance of children's grief and acknowledging that children do grieve.
Yeah.
Children are often, I don't want to say forgotten about, but when it comes to losing a family member, people often focus on the widow or the person that's closest and most significant to the loss. And because children are so resilient and their grief or their pain isn't always at the forefront, you know, they can get pushed to the side and their grief can be overlooked, especially if it's not within the immediate family. For instance, if they go to school or if they're in other community areas like sports and things like that, coaches, teachers may not recognize that this child that may be having behavior issues now, there may be some trauma and grief related to it. So we might have to approach it in a different way and recognize and acknowledge and support that grief rather than condemning the behavior and providing consequences or something like that. So we just are committed to our journey, and that includes our journey with our children, our grieving children that have experienced a significant loss like us. So here you are today, kiddos, our beautiful children, and we just want to hear a little bit from your perspective on your grief journey and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, and what is it to you? Like, Ahmad, what is grief to you?
My life.
Grief is your life.
Grief is your life.
Yes, grief is my life.
Do you want to expand?
Yes. Grief is my life because I will always be going through the grief no matter what.
That is so powerful and so wise from such a young soul.
And I feel bad because he feel like grief has to be his life. Grief is his life. You know what I mean? Like,
young.
Never even heard that. Like, grief is my life. Like,
So if you just, for listeners that may just be tuned in, Ahmad is your son who lost his father at age
so by no, he was
age
one.
one.
Yeah, he my husband was murdered 2 months before Ahmad turned 2. And by the age of 3, before he turned 4, 2 months before he turned 4, my oldest son, his brother, was murdered. So he's probably like, and it's trauma too, because when you were saying the schools does not recognize it, when he attends school and I like sign him up for school, I talk to the teacher and I explain, his father and his brother was murdered, it's him and I. And I know he had started having behavior in kindergarten.
Absolutely.
And they were like, what do we do? They wanted to help. And they sent him to the counselor and they told us about a program or a counseling a counseling called Kindermourn, where there's kids who mourn and they put them in groups of their age. So now we have a grief crew that we get together. Now I have a family, like how we came to your retreat and y'all my family. I have a grief family back home where we get the kids together, outside of the group. And we go do fun things with the kids and everything. And they sometimes talk about their dads, you know what I mean? And things like that. But it was important for me to get him the help because that's, as a young boy, just losing both your in-home family.
Right. How is the experience with grief? Because I know the other, the older teenagers have experienced a grief family or grief group also. how is that experience significant to your grief journey or supportive to your grief journey?
I think it was significant. Well, it was a significant part just because it was something we did and took part in, and I guess it was more of a oh, these are people who have gone through virtually similar things or the same thing that you have. So it's more of a sense of togetherness, not because I don't really share too much. In when we did the grief group, I didn't really share really at all. But when you're listening to other people, you can be like, yeah.
That's traumatic for young children to experience. And, when he was very young when he experienced that, and we may not always remember, he may not remember exactly, but hearing and knowing, and then our body remembers, right? And so our body keeps the score. So though our brain and the memories may not be there, our body stores what has happened to us, the trauma and the grief. So it's important to get it out. It's important to have the outlets. It's important to have the support. And we, recognize that for children as well. It's not just us, it's the children who need the support and the love and the grace and everything that comes with it. Do you all sometimes, I know one of the hardest things for me as a parent, I've shared before, was, knowing that my children hurt or, are grieving and wouldn't bring it to me because you didn't want to put more on your mom or, make me hurt more as, I saw it or as we talked through it. Do you all have any insight or thoughts on that? Or do you know when your mom is having a hard time, and what is that like for you?
I know when my mommy has hard time sometimes. Maybe she might cry in the shower.
Yeah, showers are a place to cry.
That is my go-to.
Me too.
Yep.
Really?
Yes, it's always, it's majority of the time.
Yeah,
it's the
that's
shower.
that's where I go.
I think
it's
the
like
water's
nobody can hear you and the
cleansing
water's
and
flowing.
things
And
like
then,
that.
yeah.
Sometimes my mommy might listen to music while
Yeah.
she's in the shower praying.
Yeah,
She always pray in the shower too.
that's sweet. That's sweet.
She's so sweet.
What about you, Amaya or Isaiah? Do y'all know? Can y'all tell?
I can, if she's having a particularly hard time, if it's really bad, then I can tell. But everything else, on a normal day, if she's just having a bad day, then she just goes on like normal. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, your mom is kind of known to do the most.
Yeah.
The most. I
And
actually
not really ask for help.
I was talking to her therapist, and she let it be known that Amaya kind of sees me that way, that I just,
Yeah.
kind of go through and not much bothers me. I try not to put too much on them in terms
Yeah.
of what I go through.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes it's very important for them to see
know.
us
To see it,
struggle
yeah.
Yeah.
and to see that it's okay to cry and, that I'm hurt today
Yeah.
because that's okay for you guys too. It's okay to cry when you need to cry and show your emotion and express that you're having a particularly hard day. Sometimes children don't know how to express their emotions or
Right,
what
that's
they're
so
feeling.
true.
And
Yeah.
so it's important for us adults to be able to recognize and give them the grace and the space that they need to say, hey, are you having a rough day?
Yeah.
Or, I'm going to give you grace today because I recognize it might be a tough day for you today, just like we have them. And so,
Yeah. And I think it's important for us to even tell our kids, like, we're hurting. Today is a day for mommy, or, you know what I mean? Because we were driving to school and Ahmad said, he said, Mom, you're never sad. I see Nana cry all the time. You know, every time she goes see Shawty, she cries. And I said, really? I said, well, what does sad look like to you, you know? And I said, I'm sad all the time. You know, I express to him and I let him know I'm sad, you know, and I let him know too, like, if you're crying, it's okay to cry because you're hurting because your father and your brother is gone. It's okay to, you know, to feel what you feel. And when he's having his moment, I let him have his moment. Like, he'll cry. He'll be like, can they just come back? And, you know, I let him I'm like, and I tell him, it is okay for what you're doing and how you feel. Because a lot of times you see some parents like, you can't cry. You're not supposed to cry. But it is okay for a child to cry, and it's okay for them, and it is definitely healthy. But it's healthy for us to let them know, like, right now, like, what we're doing this for is for them too. You know what I mean? And we want y'all to, you know, see us in our vulnerability, and also to let y'all know y'all could come to us and let us know. We don't want you to hide it from us. And sometimes you might not want to talk about it, but we are here to hear it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I don't want to put this on my mom. She already sad. You know, because my oldest son, he was like that. Like, I remember he was crying so bad. And he's like, I shouldn't be crying, Mom. And I said, no, you lost your father.
right.
It's okay to cry. He like, you know, like, I mean, and I said, no, Shawty. And the one time I was downstairs in the basement crying, and he came down. I'm like, what? And he's like, and he said, Mom, it hurt me seeing you crying. And I said, man, I said, we both trying to put a smile on each other's face, and we just all just like, oh, really, like, you know what I mean? But it was important for me to know that, because it showed like we were both trying to like just keep each other smiling and everything like that. But in those moments, I tried to get him counseling. Well, I did get him counseling. I tried, but even the school would contact me, and I'll go up to the school and I'm like, hey, I want us to rise above this. I want us to, you know, like, to get through this as best we can. You know, what can we do? What can I do to help you? You know what I mean? I gave him hugs every day. I kissed him on his cheeks. I told him how much I loved him. And I also told him, because he'd be like, Mom, you so strong. I said, Shawty, I'm messed up behind this for real. But I expressed that, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we don't look like it's like they say, you just move on, like, you know, but we're hurting real bad. Like, in real life, this hurts us really, really bad. But we want y'all
As we know,
to,
it does you, you know.
Yeah, we know y'all
We
hurting.
know it does you. So I think one of the important things for us, as you know, as a platform, is to not only shed light on how difficult it is and bring awareness to the fact that this is a grief journey for life, right? As Ahmad so eloquently put it. But what are some of the things that have helped you, from your perspective, have helped you get through your grief journey?
Yeah, Isaiah, let's hear from you.
I'd say my dog really helped me through the journey of grief.
Awesome.
I really love my dog.
That's amazing. Amazing. And I would agree 1000%. Let me tell you, before that dog, and we didn't have, I was totally against animals, you know, and pet therapy is a real thing. And I just, you know, I was against animals. And before the dog, I would take him to like the therapy pets in the community, and I just saw what a difference it made just when in the hour of him visiting, you know, the dogs. And so I finally was like, fine, I see what an impact it makes, and I know that we've got to do this. And so when we got that dog, let me tell you, he was having behavior issues in school, and you know, multiple meetings with counselors and teachers, and that dog was like magic. I mean, once we got the dog, he was 180-degree turnaround. It was
A comfort dog for sure.
yeah. So the dog Ani has been a blessing to our lives for sure.
What about you, Amaya?
I used to draw a whole lot and write a whole lot, but now I listen to a lot of music and I read. I read a lot and I listen to music.
Awesome. Okay. Those are all great outlets for sure.
Maud, what's the outlet for you? What helps you?
The thing that helped me whenever I'm feeling sad, maybe I might go to sleep or I might pray.
I love it. You all brought different aspects, you know, the pet therapy, the spirituality, the releasing,
The writing, listening
That's
to
good.
music. Yeah.
Good, 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 good. Is there anything else, any advice that you'd want to give to other kids that maybe, you know, experiencing what you're experiencing?
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and that is I forgot it. I might say it at the end when it's over.
Okay, no worries. No advice to any other youth.
I don't think I have any like advice.
Okay,
is
or
it something
anything
you
you'd
wanna
want to say.
say?
Sorry, advice might feel like
Yeah.
it's too.
Yeah.
You know.
I got something
Like,
to say.
it's something you would like somebody to know or about your journey through grief. Yes, Ahmad?
Whenever I was at my nana's house, I had a dream that there was a guy that shot a bow and arrow at my dad's. He had a white suit on, and then somebody shot a bow and arrow at his stomach, and now I cannot get that out of my head.
So you sometimes have bad dreams.
And my brother, he was just sitting there watching it.
That definitely comes with it, you know, the trauma,
Yeah.
the dreams and thoughts, and that is also why it's so important for the therapeutic intervention, the
Yeah.
support, the continual recognition that children do grieve, and it may not be right away, because again, recognizing it is a lifelong process, and we may not always be able to see it on the surface, but there's always things happening underneath.
Yeah. And I would like to just shed light just as far as the grief goes. Like, they have grief camps like this summer. This past 2024, in 2024, Ahmad went to a grief camp where there were like hundreds of kids, and they stayed the night, and they did things like had memorial. They talked about their loved ones, and it was kids that literally everybody, they either lost their father, their mother, their sibling, so many people, and he had so much fun too. They ate together. They did so many things, but they also provided a space for the parents or the caregivers. And we sat in and we talked and we painted. They painted. They did so much stuff. So there's a lot of programs and things like that for kids who lose people. You know what I mean? Not just like a counselor, because sometimes kids get like they don't want to talk to a one-on-one or just be. But it's stuff that, you know, togetherness to let kids see that they're not alone. And they stayed the night, and he enjoyed it. Me and my grief crew, they went. So I just wanted to share that there's so many different outlets for what we're going through for our children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's just important to have the outlets.
Yes,
You know? There
yes.
will need to be outlets, because otherwise children would probably store that all inside.
Yeah.
And again,
Absolutely.
the body keeps the score, and we want them to be able to live as healthy and happy as possible.
Yeah. Definitely.
Anything else that you want anyone to know?
No.
No? All right. Well, thank you. Y'all are amazing.
I
We love you so
got
much.
one more thing to say.
One more thing.
Y'all can pray, and y'all can do anything y'all want to help you try to make you cry and try to make you not cry. So both have a combo, and you can try to do something to not make you cry, to make you cry, to make you feel better if you have a loss.
Absolutely. And you said you can pray about it, right?
Yeah.
You can pray.
That's
You
amazing.
can pray in the morning. You can pray at night.
You can pray anytime.
Of the day, anytime of night.
You're so amazing.
If you have a bad dream, your parents will let you stay up a little longer and pray, because it's grieving over you.
Aw, amazing. I love it. Well, thank you all. Y'all are amazing.
really
Thank you for
appreciate
being
y'all.
on our show.
Yes.
Thank you for having us. And thanks for having our parents.
You're so
We
sweet.
love y'all so
you.
much. Love y'all so much.